Once hailed as the little magician, a Brazilian maestro who lit up Anfield with every touch, there was a time when he wasn't just part of Liverpool, he was Liverpool. A player who could twist out of the tightest spaces, leaving defenders frozen and goalkeepers helpless from distance. He didn't just score goals, he created moments. Moments that made the crowd rise in awe.
When Philippe Coutinho joined Liverpool from Inter Milan in 2013 for a fee of just £8.5 million, he was seen as a young, promising talent, nothing more. But few could have imagined what he'd become, a driving force behind Liverpool's resurgence.
Starting under Brendan Rodgers and then further refined by Jurgen Klopp, Coutinho evolved into one of Europe's most thrilling and unpredictable attacking midfielders. He wasn't just creating chances, he was putting on a show, a flair player with substance, capable of dictating the flow, the mood, even the outcome of the match, all on his own.
By 2017, Liverpool were no longer a sleeping giant, they were rising fast. With the explosive front three of Salah, Firmino and Mane leading the charge, the club stood on the brink of a new era of success, and at the centre of it all was Philippe Coutinho. But the magician came at a cost, and this was where things would take a dramatic turn for the Brazilian.
After relentlessly pushing in the summer of 2017, Barcelona came calling yet again in January 2018. And despite securing the services of Ousmane Dembele the window prior, they still wanted Liverpool's man. Still desperate to fill the void of Neymar. It was more than just a transfer, it was an invitation to join a club where flair wasn't just welcomed, it was woven into the fabric of its identity. And just like in the summer, Coutinho's head was turned, but this time he handed in his transfer request, and soon after the deal was done. £142 million. £142 million. It made him become the second most expensive transfer in football history.
This was meant to be a move that cemented his legacy, but in hindsight, it marked the beginning of his decline. The truth was, Barcelona didn't need Philippe Coutinho. After losing Neymar, the club felt compelled to make a statement, to spend big, to reassure the fans, to prove their ambition. But in reality, the Brazilian was never the right fit. Stylistically, tactically, emotionally, it was a square peg in a round hole.
Barcelona's midfield was engineered for possession and control, a system built to dictate tempo rather than to disrupt it. But for Coutinho, that was a big problem. What made the Brazilian so special wasn't caution, it was chaos. He thrived on taking risks, striving forward with sharp bursts of control, and unlocking defences with instinct over instruction. And at Liverpool, Klopp's high-tempo, transitional football gave him the freedom to be a maverick, but in Valverde's Barcelona, that freedom vanished, and ultimately he became a liability. Messi was the catalyst among all attacks, not Coutinho, and of course the Brazilian wasn't used to this due to his free role at Liverpool.
On paper, Coutinho's stats weren't disastrous. 10 goals in just half a season is respectable. But for many fans and critics, the numbers only highlighted what was missing. The spark, the magic, the moments of brilliance that they had come to expect. The spark that once defined him at Liverpool flickered and faded beneath the weight of expectation and the confusion of a new system in Spain. And then, almost overnight, the jeers and whistles echoed through the Camp Nou. Coutinho quickly became the scapegoat in Catalonia, a club known for its little tolerance towards underperforming stars. The very crowd that once roared for Brazilian legends like Ronaldinho and Neymar, celebrating their flair and artistry, now booed Coutinho's every misplaced touch. The trademark smile that once lit up Anfield began to fade. The daring long shots vanished, and the flair, the very essence of the little magician, seemed to drain away.
And by his second season, the midfielder had become a symbol of Barcelona's tactical struggles and their unravelling European dreams. It was clear that Philippe Coutinho was no longer the promising star of the Camp Nou, but instead was a costly mistake. And during the same season, his former club were lifting the Champions League. In 2020, the Brazilian returned to Barcelona on loan from Bayern Munich, a twist of fate. He had joined the Catalan Giants, chasing European glory, only to find it elsewhere, scoring 2 goals against his parent club in an 8-2 humbling of Barcelona. But Bayern decided to not make the move permanent, leaving Coutinho back at Barcelona as an unwanted and fallen star.
A new manager arrived, fresh signings came in, and academy talents began breaking through. Injuries piled up, and the player once seen as an actual heir to Neymar's throne now found himself fading into the abyss, an afterthought in a rapidly changing team. In 2022, Aston Villa gave Coutinho a chance to rediscover himself under the guidance of a former Liverpool teammate, Steven Gerrard. Flashes of brilliance appeared occasionally, but they were too sporadic to inspire confidence or to help his team truly compete. Football is a very cruel game, and Coutinho knew all too well about that, as he was a man playing with fear, no confidence, and became hesitant in almost everything he did.
So why did things go so wrong for him? Well, it wasn't just about him losing his form, or his place in the team, or even his purpose. It was about the fact that he was no longer working under Jurgen Klopp. He was tailor-made for the fast-paced, energetic football that the German implemented into his team, and without that, everything unravelled. At Barca, structure and patience was the key to their success, with roles set out for each player, of course Messi aside, and as a result Coutinho struggled to be a systematic player rather than the system itself. And when the confidence eroded, so did his playstyle, because players like him, artists, game changers, they thrive off the belief of both themselves and their supporters. At Liverpool he received love and cheers, but at Barcelona he received doubt and jeers, and his career is a cruel reminder of how brutal the sport can be.
Today, at 32, Coutinho finds himself back home in Brazil, remembered as a player whose talent shone bright but faded all too fast. He's no longer the rising star he once was, but not quite a seasoned veteran either. His talent still shines, yet it's too inconsistent to rely on fully. Too bright to be forgotten, but too unpredictable to be depended upon. When Liverpool fans look back, most remember Coutinho with fondness, though it's tinged with a bittersweet regret. He left just as the club stood on the brink of greatness, a success they would soon achieve, winning the trophies Coutinho chased when he moved to Barcelona.
The Brazilian's time at Barcelona was a tale of tragedy, a magician who lost his own magic when the crowd stopped believing. He chased a pursuit, and the pursuit ultimately ruined him. And as Klopp once said, stay here and they will end up building a statue in your honour. Go somewhere else, to Barcelona, to Bayern Munich, to Real Madrid, and you will just be another player. Here you can be something more. And ultimately, Jurgen was right.